Hello! Welcome to WRWRPOD with myself, Cliff Foster, aka the Amazing Cliff, on the old Twitter mobile, and I am accompanied by this handsome young bugger.
I, of course, am. 6 stars for Meltzer, 2 sweet for the club. More Simpsons refs than your mate down the pub. I'm on the list of Jericho. I can kick better than Alistair Black. And that's why, ladies and gentlemen, the WRWRPOD, we're back!
It does feel weird being back in the world-famous shed, but we are back, ladies and gentlemen, of our little hiatus, our little YouTube show. If you haven't seen it already, please make sure you go and subscribe to hashtag WRWRPod on the old YouTube. It's great being back to what makes us awesome, I suppose.
It's great to be back to our bread and butter, I think is how I described it, you know, because first off, huge shout out, the editing work on that YouTube video was exceptional, my good man. Considering that's the first video you've edited, very, very good work. Very impressed. Million times better than I ever could have done.
And a big, actually, well done to you, because if you do go and watch our first ever YouTube show, please do. You will notice that Toby goes off on a little adventure to the Isle of Wight to Outcast Pro Wrestling. I added the pro in there. That was annoying me all the way through that video. Apologies to Matt. Apologies to Benji. It's Outcast Pro Wrestling. Your first ever ring announcing, sir. Well done.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
Smashed it. And we've only got a very small segment of the video, actually what you did on that YouTube video, because I could have actually just done a whole YouTube show by itself just with what you did on that evening. But no, really well done, man. You got any more bookings coming up?
Yes, yeah, we do. There are more bookings coming up. There are boykins. Boykins. There's more boykins. There's more boykins coming up. Hey, yo, Toby Vassetti's got more boykins.
Give me some coffee.
Give me some. I don't really like coffee. I'm much more of an Earl Grey man. So there's more bookings coming up. April 26th, you're going to be there as well. WRWR Pod and myself, we are returning to Outcast Pro Wrestling. It is on Ryde, Isle of Wight this time, not at Newport, at the nightclub Coburg's. And as you heard me discreetly say, this is an 18-plus event.
Oh, saucy.
Saucy.
Oh, saucy.
After that, we're actually going to be making our debut. We've never been to one of these shows before. So, of course, I'm going to be there, getting ready for the ring announcing. We're going to be there for Strike Wrestling in Bournemouth.
Oh, that's exciting. When is this?
April 28th.
April 28th. So the 29th and the 28th.
26th.
Oh, sorry, 26th and the 28th.
Now, this actually leaves us a bit of a conundrum here, because I realise that there's another one of our favourite promotions doing one of our favourite shows on the Saturday. It's Pro Wrestling Chaos on April 27th, and Total Chaos.
Get to Bristol.
Gutted.
I know. I'm sorry. Right?
But with
please, Mr. Mercy, don't be sad at us. Tell you what, if you pay for our travel up there, back and forth.
Expenses,
mate. Expenses, you know?
So if you want to meet the WRWR pod, you want to come see me do my thing in the ring, then the April 26th, Coburg's Isle of Wight, April 28th, Strike in Bournemouth, and then in June, we're back at CWP.
Mm-hmm. And it's been announced, a new venue. Unfortunately, the venue has actually slipped my mind. However,
the Oasis Academy.
See, look at this man.
Consummate professional.
This is why you're in the ring, shooting it on the breeze, and I am just left editing shit.
No, I will not have it.
Have what?
I will not have that by no stretch of the imagination.
Also, on the evening of WrestleMania, so April 7th, we shall be at the 1865 in Southampton for the return of Revolution Pro Wrestling, and the first time down in Southampton, to my knowledge, as he was down back in Deer, of the Bastard Pack.
Yeah, I'm so excited for this. I think in a way, now, do you think this is almost an apology from RevPro for the quality?
Well, yeah,
what was on last time?
Yeah, we had a discussion about this off mic last time around, and I don't think that the quality of matches were great last time around. You know, El Phantasmo, you know,
every time is amazing. TK Cooper versus Michael Oku was amazing.
Michael Oku was absolutely incredible. You know, and
Bottom
versus
and Shah Samuels, versus White Wolf.
I mean, it was a great thing of wrestling, but there wasn't anything to stand out to make someone go, I need to go and watch that show. And there's nothing against any of the performers there, because they were generally absolutely awesome.
They were amazing.
It was a great night's wrestling. It was one of the best nights wrestling I've ever seen in Southampton. And I mean it. There was just nothing there to turn around to you and say, you need to come and watch this show.
Well, it's as Steven said. One, where were the women wrestlers?
Yeah.
Two, where were the championships? How many belts did you see that night?
None.
0.
Big fat 0. So it doesn't make us feel important. I hope that it's not just that as the only attraction. I hope that we do see someone more.
Well, yeah, like
down.
the usual suspects, I'm sure will still be there. I'm sure we'll get a Josh Bottom appearance, which is great because he is pure fire for Rev Pro. Pretty much everywhere he works, he's great.
You have to say that now, working for Strike, though.
Well, no, I forgot about that for a second. I forgot about that for a second. But yeah, so hopefully, we'll see the guys we normally see, like the return of Team White Wolf. Like that would be great.
That was brilliant. Team White Wolf, absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah,
brilliant little tag team. It was
brilliant little tag team. God bless them.
Sounded a bit patronising. Head on, chicos. I mean, I really liked seeing Shah down here as well.
Yeah.
Because, we went all the way up as one of the main attractions to go and see flipping Fear and Loathing. Yeah. And he's coming down just for, little tag team with him and Josh.
Some shits and gigs. And
why not? Why not?
I don't know, just give me David Starr again. I'll be.
That's what I want. I want a David Starr.
Give me David Starr.
Obviously, his cred has gone up, and I imagine his budget. How much he can charge people.
Because we're never going to get. I don't know. Maybe we will get a Will. I think we'll get Will Ospreay back again.
Do you know what?
I don't think we'll get.
I would like
Jay
to see
White.
Speedball Mike Bailey.
Yes.
I would love to see. Was it Mike Bailey? Or,
yeah, Speedball Mike Bailey.
So I really enjoyed him. He recently just had his first Progress show end of last year.
He could be somebody who's going to be in super strong style.
Oh, that'd be brilliant.
That'd be great, wouldn't it?
Because I really liked him when we saw him down for Lucha Forever.
Yeah.
That's one person I've always wanted to see again. I wouldn't mind seeing. There's a couple of people that
I would love to see Jimmy Havoc. I'm not convinced the owners of the 1865 would. But yeah, like Dan Maloney again. Dan would be great. Devlin. I really really Devlin.
It depends on what his contract says now. With of course, him being a WWE full timer, can he wrestle for Rev Pro?
I heard from the grapevine, from a source. I know you can't see.
Are you in the know now?
I have an insider source. I have an insider source who could be described as one of my many sparrows. Little sparrows cheeping around. That apparently now, Pete Dunne is not on an exclusive contract. Pete Dunne is available for indie bookings again.
I can't see that though, because no one's booked him. And also...
Yet.
Yeah, but at the same time, I can see Pete Dunne moving to the main roster, though, surely.
So can I. I mean, don't shoot the messenger. I don't have a label, that's also... All I'm saying is, I have heard from a sparrow. The reliability of this sparrow is not there to be confirmed. But I have heard that Pete Dunne is available for bookings. So, maybe Devlin is.
Who knows? But then it's always a problem with WWE with Rev Pro because, of course, Rev Pro have very big connection to their biggest rival. You could always say AEW will be their biggest rival, but at this present moment in time, still New Japan
Impact
is their biggest. Well, Sami Callihan's just signed a new contract with them. We can't laugh too much.
No, you can't, or else he'll miss you with a bat and break your eye socket.
He's a great flaming performer. Great performer. Anyway,
we have to say that.
Yeah, we have to say that. If not,
the fear of our lives.
We'll shave my head. So that very much links us on to WWE, I suppose. Obviously, if you do not know the show by now, welcome to the first ever WRWRPOD. We tend to do this in 3 segments. The first segment that we'll come to in a second, which I'll introduce in a second. Second segment is usually a random segment. We've had many things in the past. We've had the Dan 7 Jukebox Hour.
Accompanied by the wonderful Steve Blackman music.
This wasn't. It was... Anyway. We've had lovely random segments, and we tend to end with the Brit
Wrestle rundown.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
And that goes on to our first segment that I have not introduced, and that is everything mainstream. That's everything WWE. That's everything on the big wide world of everything, and that is times 30. So we had a big discussion about this time for 30. I mean, like we haven't done one of these for so long, and so much has happened. If you're looking at AEW, if you're looking at people leaving New Japan to go to WWE possibilities, Kushida and things like that. But we generally thought, what is the big talking point? And it's great to say it's women's wrestling.
Again, women's wrestling, and especially the three that we're about to go into. Spoilers, there's not really a spoiler. It's blatantly obvious who we're talking about here. For those three, they've been taking up so much of the time talking about this on the podcast. And I mean, ever since Ronda Rousey burst onto the scene, we've spoken about her at absolute length about how well she's doing and how she's osmosising the business. We say it every time. Like Hodge said it. Transcends, yeah. Like Hodge said it. That you can literally see her getting better mid-match. You see her improving mid-match, and that's incredible. So ever since she's got there, then of course you've got Becky Lynch, who's had a complete career transformation.
It's phenomenal to see a mid-carder, a women's mid-carder, which, you know, all joking aside, is not the best place to be. In the women's, it's down in the dungeons of WWE, really, if you're a women's mid-carder. Just being thrown into multi-man or multi-woman tag matches. She went from that to overnight becoming the star we always knew she should.
Do you know
SummerSlam evening.
I would, like as I said, becoming the star we always knew that she should be, right? I could see that she could wrestle for a long time. I've seen that she could wrestle, but I was a doubter. I was a real doubter, and I hold my hands up, and I admit that, because I saw her make her debut on NXT with a fucking Irish jig gig.
Yes.
I remember that, thinking, Jesus Christ, what the fuck is this? And it was just fucking terrible. But then she sort of morphed, and she became, a woman with submissions who could wrestle a bit. And I was like, this is great, and this is fine. And she becomes SmackDown champion. I'm like, oh yeah, this is all right. This is fine. She's getting the chance to run with it. She's getting a chance to go. Good for her. And then she lost it to Alexa Bliss again. I was like, okay. Well, this is dead to me. Do you know what I mean? And I was okay with that. I was completely okay with that. So then for her to have this, when she came out and she cut that real hot heel promo, I was like, oh, this is interesting again. This is interesting. And then it just exploded.
It has. And I think when you were saying about doubt if she could do it, I think I was doubting on the booking of it. Because she turned a bit catchphrasy, straight fire and all that jazz. She had turned very gimmicky and almost like...
That straight fire was a crock of old shit, I'm telling you.
Well, I would always say that you actually still got Sasha and Bayley in that very much pigeonholed at the moment. 2 stars that should be stars. As long as they don't do suicide.
They're the first ever tag team champion, women's tag team champions, Bayley.
Yeah,
women's tag team champions. But I understand. Get a little bit excited. We'll let you off with it. It's the first time they've given you a chance to fucking do anything. God, surprised you get excited.
Yeah, but that was nice. But still, Becky, phenomenal. She's ran with it. And we finally got back one of the best things that you can get in professional wrestling, and that is heel Charlotte Flair.
I was just going to say a heel Flair.
Heel Flair.
It's just amazing.
She's so damn good at it. So if you haven't seen it already, please go and watch the ending of Raw on Monday night this week, which was the 6th.
Because they had a hard act to follow, because last week's Raw was the best Raw I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, wow, that ending was very, very good, and it was very exciting, it was very fresh. But then saying that, I think the wrestling in between, there was a lot of, guff, and it was very much...
I think that's more an indictment on Raw than it is anything else, when last week was the best one we've seen in a long time.
But there was still guff in it. I think that promo at the end of Raw, we're going to concentrate on that. Obviously, go and watch it now. Right, you've had a chance to watch it.
You know how to work the pause button.
So obviously we saw.
God, can you imagine trying to live your life without a pause button now, Cliff? Having to start something for an hour and a half and have to fully commit to it.
Why would you click on a link? This always gets me with YouTube. Why would you click on links where there'll be spoilers, yet you get annoyed and triggered when spoilers are given? Anyway. I digress. So, obviously, Ronda last week laid down the championship in the ring because she wanted Becky reinstated. So, obviously, Stephanie's seeing that as she's vindicated the title. Anyway, so she comes out saying, okay, so Becky, if you stand on this dotted line here, you'll be allowed to face off against Charlotte Flair at Fastlane, and you'll be able to, win the World Championship, Women's Championship, you two SmackDown women.
Stop! Stop! Now, Cliff said to me, have you seen Raw? And I was like, not yet. So and I said, can we watch it on yours? He went, yes, you're going to want to watch this. Yes. So I said, okay, cool. So I got round. And I'm there watching. Stephanie McMahon's talking about, you two will wrestle for the Raw Women's... Wait, hang on. Hang on. These are two women's wrestlers from SmackDown. Two SmackDown wrestlers now competing for the Raw. No wonder Asuka's gone on fucking holiday for a month. I mean, who's she meant to be kicking in the face at the moment? I love Billie Kay and Peyton Royce. Does this look like a joke to you? Are you? Where'd you go to journalism for that? Amazing. Did you go to journalism for that?
Yes.
Well done, Billie Kay. Well done. Making Peyton and the announcer corpse at the same time is just wonderful.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, who is there for Asuka to beat now? I mean, Naomi? No. Carmella? No. Billie Kay and Peyton? Yes, but no. There's just nobody else even close to that. I mean, so, and I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why, Cliff. The other two are off pissing around on fucking SmackDown. Raw, even.
Simon Miller impression then.
Nah, not today. Because if I was to really do a Simon Miller impression,
sake.
then we'd actually think he was here in the room. But of course, he's not really here in the room because he's off doing something else. Maybe even having a shower right now. So he couldn't really be here and having a shower at the same time.
Anyway, so yeah, it's a bit weird. I don't know. We were discussing about it, and I said we were saying, is there such a thing as a brand split anymore? And I was like, there are rumors, of course, circulating that the brand split will become a thing of the past. I can't see how that would work with Fox coming into play in a couple of months' time. But personally, I think they're just waiting for another redraft, and it just needs a kick up the backside. But they don't want to kick something too much up the backside this close to WrestleMania.
I know, because it's kind of working, isn't it? I mean, the thing with Mania is it is ultimately working. If you look at the big matches that are coming up, so have we just accepted that we're going to have a triple threat now? Have we accepted it's going to be a triple threat?
I think we accept. Cool. Me and you accepted it from the first day this was all announced.
Right, so we've got the main. So we've got the triple threat main event, which is going to be marvelous. We've then got the Lesnar versus Rollins, which is going to be marvelous.
Yes,
because it's one of those matches where Brock will give a damn, and as we've said, when Brock gives a shit, he's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be great. We've got Batista versus Triple H, that will also be great. I have no doubts that that's going to be incredible. And so if those top three matches are sort of what we're looking at,
I'd imagine Kofi versus. You say Kofi versus Bryan's going to happen?
Well, yeah, it's got to happen at Mania, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It's got to, because they've taken it away off of Fastlane.
Yeah, and
because originally it was going to be
because
it was going to be KO at Mania and Kofi at Fastlane, but they pulled the old switcheroo on that after.
No one ever saw that coming.
But
Isn't
it strange though that we've got the exact same thing happening on Raw and SmackDown? We've got the match that everybody wants to see: Ronda versus Becky, Daniel Bryan versus Kofi, and then McMahon just inserting somebody that nobody else really kind of wants there. It's the exact same thing.
Let's try. Okay, so let's go into the women's because I was just about to digress there, but we will do it right at the end. Not digress. I was going to jump ahead of myself. Sorry, the other way around. Now, very quickly going into this women's match. Ronda Rousey. Of course, Ronda was second, I want to say, on the interview extravaganza for Women of the Year.
She either won it or came second.
No, Becky definitely ran it.
Oh, well then Ronda came second.
So, and obviously she was both of our number one picks.
Yes, she was.
Now,
which I still stand by, because Ronda's overall body of work last year was second to
So
none.
what would you say her mate? So cheeky little build up to this. What was her main criticism? Your main criticism you could have had of her last year?
Shit fucking promos.
Cool.
But not just shit and fucking scripted. She's clearly trying to remember a script and it didn't work.
Cool. So last night or today or whenever you've seen it.
5 minutes ago, Cliff. Come on.
5 minutes ago for you. How good was her promo?
It was incredible, and it was exactly as you said. The first bit
scripted, then these are the key points. Drop that little what was it?
Damn the man,
Damn the
screw
man,
the woo.
screw the woo, and the bitch I'm meant to be, or something like that. I can't remember.
No more Miss Nice Bitch.
Mitch, yeah, no more Miss Nice, and then the biggest kick to the groin. Sorry,
Just
to the
the fucking
midsection.
kick in the
and
gut.
the fucking
Slap.
the slap. But that was brilliant because she just went off. The Staples Centers bit, you booing me off at Staples Centers.
That was my hometown. Her eyes were welling up.
I know.
She was so mad that her eyes were popping out.
And it just was so damn believable.
Yeah.
And then it's now got me even more pumped for this. I will be bloody angry if this isn't main event. If Brock Seth
Triple
is
H
over
Batista
this,
main event.
because I can see it happening now. But no, so if Seth and fucking Brock is over this, I will be fucking furious. Because they're not going to get an opportunity like this again. I said for years, if you've been listening to WRWRPOD from the start, I've always dreamt about 4 horsewomen versus 4 horsewomen. This is going to beat that. The hype. I mean, there's genuine hype. There's genuine storyline to this. Quite like the Kofi situation. There's genuine want from an audience to want this matchup. It feels WrestleMania.
The thing is,
I haven't felt anything so WrestleMania. It's forever and ever and ever.
The thing is Mania will normally always put on the most over people last. And all 3 of these women, well, 2, maybe not Charlotte, but the Ronda and Becky are the 2 most over wrestlers in WWE at the moment. They get the loudest cheers, they get the loudest boos, especially after what we just saw from Ronda.
Mm-hmm.
They are the most over characters in WWE right now, so that makes me confident that they will go on last.
I just loving this at the moment, and I don't care if it's the 3 of them, I don't care if it's 2 of them,
No,
I really don't. They will just keep going, and it is pointing towards a face Becky overcoming the odds and winning the championship at WrestleMania. It's all the fireworks. I think that's the only way that this WrestleMania can end.
Oh, I think I've got it. Charlotte's there, so she can take the defeat, which will leave Ronda still being...
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Becky's there. Because if you have a look at Charlotte has won how many wrestlers? She's won every single... I think she is on a streak.
Mm.
She's on a streak. She lost to WrestleMania?
So Becky will take Charlotte's streak, then Ronda will come back when she's had her, because Ronda's going to take some time off after Mania, isn't she?
There is rumours that she's going to start a family and things like that. So is it the case of that they protect Charlotte and they keep her going and she ends up with a win?
No, they will protect Becky. Ronda 100. I'm certain, because can you imagine, right? That place will fucking burn to the ground if Charlotte wins.
Not being funny, but can there ever be someone with a streak again? Very unlikely, but Charlotte's actually in the midst of a streak, so do they keep it going with her?
I don't think so, no, because it's a long enough streak that it'll give Becky something to crow about, which is great. She'll win the title, she'll take a streak, but then they can even have Becky come out and goad Ronda and be like, I got 1 streak. It's not the one I wanted, though. You know what I mean? She can
when Ronda eventually comes back, which she will
exactly.
do.
Then Ronda will come back and be like, "You never beat me, bitch," and all the other stuff, which would be amazing. So yeah.
Well, you said there's some real quality matches on this WrestleMania already. Obviously, we have seen the in-ring return of KO. Do we see the matchup we'll never see again? Because how else are you going to put KO into the title scene? Unless it's a multi-man ladder match for the US Championship.
You could chuck him into an IC or US title ladder match, couldn't you?
But, or Hill Sami Zayn appears, turns on good man Kevin.
I couldn't get behind a heel Sami Zayn and a face KO. I won't.
No.
KO's not a face, though.
What?
There's no way Kevin Owens is a face. You can't do it. It's physically impossible.
But I love heel Sami Zayn.
You can have heel Sami Zayn, but you can't have a face KO.
It's
impossible. I don't see it. I could never buy into a face KO because he could literally go 3 years and be the nicest guy in the world, and I'd still be expecting him to go, oh, every single time. I'd be teetering on the edge going, is this it?
There was a part of that the other night. I was like this going, This is just going to build up to him just being the normal bastard
Yeah,
he is.
because it's when he was like in the tag team. No, me and Kofi in a tag team together, and I was like, oh, don't do it, Sammy. You don't do it, Kofi. You've seen what happens to everyone.
Oh, dear.
Do we need to talk about the Festival of Friendship again? Are you ready to talk about the Festival of Friendship again, Cliff?
I might have to post that video now when I post the podcast.
But Cliff,
far.
Cliff, why is my name on the list?
No.
Oh, no, God.
I can't deal with it again.
Why is my name on here? No, God, no.
Cool. Anything else that you want to see on WrestleMania at the moment?
Anything else I want to see? Do you know what? It sounds really fucking stupid, but I would love for Hawkins and Ryder to win the tag titles at WrestleMania.
I was hoping it was building something like that because obviously I loved Ryder winning the IC Championship 3 years ago.
It feels like bloody 30 years ago.
Was it 3 or 4 years ago?
It was about 4 years ago. 4 years ago? Because we're coming up to WrestleMania 34 this year, aren't we? It was WrestleMania 30. It was on the...
No, it wasn't 30.
No, it was on the same one as Shane McMahon and Undertaker, Hell in a Cell. 31. 31.
So what are we on now?
34.
34. Oh, God.
Anyway, it was 3 years ago. I seem to remember confidently because it was on the same one as Shane Undertaker.
It was.
And that was really good. But I'd love Hawkins and Ryder to win the tag belts. I think that'd be great.
Do you know what? This might be out there. I'm really hoping Aleister Black turns on Ricochet and we see Aleister Black versus Ricochet in some... I wouldn't even mind that as a kickoff show.
So what role would you give to Ciampa and Gargano? Well,
Ciampa's supposedly injured.
So is he gonna have to drop his? Is he gonna have to give up Goldie?
Possibly. He's it's a reoccurring injury that he's had for at least 5 months or so. The dirt sheets are shaying. But I don't know what's going to happen with that because obviously we didn't see Gargano on this week's Raw. I don't know where they're going to go with that. But then there was rumours that was going to be the main event of TakeOver.
Gargano Ciampa.
Yeah, Gargano Ciampa. To end it, that's the end of it. Bye, see you later, boys. Go and enjoy your time on the main roster. There's a couple of things that I would really want, but I don't know. I don't know what they could do in that time.
I'd like Andrade to have a moment.
I would love to see I would love to see Rey Mysterio Andrade at WrestleMania.
But don't give us to it again until WrestleMania, please.
Don't. But it's so fucking beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Watching them two.
But if you ever needed a classic WWE booking, the fans quite enjoyed that last week, didn't they?
3 weeks.
Let's give it to them again. No. It's like it's just literally like, I'll tell you what, this new pizza's delicious. Eat it every day. No.
But no, I'd love to see that. Anyway, let us know what you think and let us know what you want to see at the old WrestleMania at the normal hashtag WRWRPOD on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram.
Let us know if you had to go to journalism for that.
Journalism for that? No, obviously, yeah. No, let us know what you think.
I think I need to go to journalism to understand what Instagram is.
Well, you've been to journalism and you've come up with a lovely new segment for this podcast. What is your lovely new segment?
I'm going to call it the merch check.
So, what's this segment you got for me? I don't know much about this at all. So, what's in your bag?
Angelos, tell us what's in your bag, you bastard. A lump of cheese and some of these and a blind man's walking stick.
Lovely shooting stars reference there. Lovely. Thank you for that, man.
You're welcome.
So explain to me, what is merch check?
Merch check. Basically, we are going to... no, screw it. I'll tell you what. I've been inspired, Cliff. I've been listening to a new podcast. It's called the Classic Football Shirt Podcast.
Okay.
Right? Where basically they each pick a football shirt and just talk about their memories of the shirt, experiences, things like that, the designs, and just spend a little bit of time getting real nerdy with some of the shirts. And I thought that'd be a great idea because there is some fantastic wrestling merch out there. Merch from yesteryear, like for example, like the classic Macho Man shirt. The memories we have of that shirt that are involved, the Hulkamania t-shirt, the memories of Hulkamania and all that, and it can take you anywhere you want to go. But that's not where we're going today. We're going to delve deep into the wonderful annals of merch history. And today I'm going to pull out a shirt that I've always wanted. Always as a kid, I begged for this shirt. I begged for it. But my parents weren't that internet savvy. And you could only get it from WWF shop at the time.
So you couldn't afford a flight over to New York to the Times Square WWE shop. So
no.
What is this piece of merch
we are going
this week?
For the classic Degenerate 69 DX American football jersey from late 99, early 2000.
Lovely. So Degeneration X. See, it's really hard to... Well, that bit of merch is just one of those ones that...
It is, because if you remember...
It's always that one that kids in the playground would say that they've got, and then you'll go, okay, can you show me then?
No. yeah.
Everyone had an Austin shirt, but you never saw anybody in their Austin shirt. It was one of those ones.
Exactly. You always... I remember I always had like the knockoff ones you could buy in JJB Sports or Intersport as it was at the time.
Yeah.
They always had the Rock shirts with like 3 pictures of the Rock's face or something on it. Oh, I always had those. But yeah, this jersey, I wanted it so bad because it was so different to anything else. You know, it was the classic American football design with the green and white rings around the sleeve. It was baggy. It had the little holes, like the mesh holes in it.
Mm-hmm.
And it just looked incredible with the Degenerate 69 on the back. Now, I didn't see this until it was when DX 2000 was formed. Mm-hmm. And you had Road Dogg and X-Pac wearing it. And it just looked the bomb. It was the coolest fucking thing.
No, and do you know what, though? You saying it's a football top, I always thought it was an ice hockey jersey. So it was actually a football top.
It was an American football shirt. Because the ice hockey one they released, there was a Stone Cold Steve Austin ice hockey jersey that they released, wasn't there?
Yeah. But I always thought it was that. But then when you say it, I go, yeah, actually, right. It was more of an American football top, wasn't it? Because I knew exactly which one you meant. And then I was like, are you sure it was a football? No, it was a football top. That's actually me being completely wrong. Degeneration X, though, obviously going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame.
China is in the Hall of Fame, Cliff.
Not yet.
China will be in the Hall of Fame, Cliff.
Unless you listen to it a couple months down the line. Do you know what? I always remember Degeneration X being that sort of first. It came out around the same time as South Park, I suppose. And it was one of those things.
I've never put that 2 and 2 together, Cliff. Yeah. Sorry, you've literally just blown my mind.
It came out about the same time as that, 97. And I always remember it being that thing of where it was cool to like it. It was that I suppose I always remember seeing documentaries on South Park where people would say, or Matt would say, who created it, saying about that they wanted something like with Monty Python where you had to stay up beyond when your parents watched it to sort of be, I shouldn't be watching this. And that's how it felt with Degeneration X. Mm-hmm. It was that first Attitude Era thing to come really out of WWE.
It was balls to the wall juvenility, wasn't it?
Would you say it was in direct response to the NWO then?
Probably yes, but that, being the massive NWO, WCW mark that I was at the time, probably yes. However, they took it to a whole different level. The NWO was cool. The NWO was the NWO was all black and white. It was all, it was just cool. Whereas DX was just fun. DX was just fun.
It's like punk rock.
Yeah, DX was fuck you. I'm not going to fucking do anything you tell me to do. Shawn Michaels was literally there in the ring laughing in Vince McMahon's face. Sergeant Slaughter, wasn't it?
Yeah.
When Shawn Michaels comes out and Sergeant Slaughter is telling him off. And you can see Sergeant Slaughter's popping a vein. He is so mad that Shawn's just there laughing in his face. And that shit was obviously not scripted. That was not meant to be that way. But that was just Shawn Michaels at the time. And for Triple H to get caught up in that as well, man, without DX, Triple H is nothing he is today.
And do you know what? Every time I do it, and I don't know why this bit of trivia slips my mind or memory slips my mind, but when you talk about the screw job, I always forget that DX was a thing then. Yeah. And of course, Rude was... Rick Rude. Yeah, Rick Rude was in the DX at that time. I forget that until I see, of course, the opening footage of course, Shawn coming out of the locker room, and of course, with China, I forget all about that. I don't know why. And
just how far back it goes.
It's like the non-Americans as well. I forget about that sort of thing with Bret Hart. I don't know why that thing always slips my mind. Maybe it's like trauma. It's like post-traumatic stress disorder. Because I used to love Bret.
Yeah.
I used to love Shawn as well. But, it was I don't know what it was, but I always forget that.
Yeah, like the original incarnation, as I say, was pretty much, it was Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Rick Rude.
So 2000. So would you say, as I would, 2000, you have the fondest memories of DX?
Probably. I wouldn't say fondest. They're probably my brightest memories of DX because that's when they were obviously heel DX. Heel DX, DX 2000, turning up in the limos. That is when they had one of the coolest entrance themes of all time, Run DMC in DX. That was amazing. That was the King of Rock, cool. The King of Rock, what? That was amazing. That was incredible. Oh, sorry. That was amazing. Sorry, I just had a moment there. But yeah, like that's definitely when I've sort of had, you know, like my strongest memories of DX, because you know I remember Stone Cold trapping Triple H in the locker room with the rattlesnake.
Yes.
And Triple H coming out with the fake eye, going, "Austin, you broke my eye, Austin. You ended my career, Austin." And then just proceeded like to beat the shit out of him. And it was like fine. But then of course they had the DX bust, didn't they? Mm-hmm. On it was either the first or second episode of SmackDown. It was on a really early episode of SmackDown.
Yeah, very
yeah. Where Austin dropped a giant log. Was it a log? A giant concrete tube, or he dropped something on it.
So, yeah, he did, but
and it just went up in absolute flames. And I was like, yeah, so that was because like that was sort of they really used that to get Triple H over as this sort of super bastard heel champion. And it worked. It worked really, really well. But I mean, fondest memories of DX will always be, and it's one of those things that gets me popped every single time I hear it. And it's clearly something that I actually heard very, very recently on Raw. Oh, you didn't know? Yeah, your ass better call somebody. Yeah. Oh, I remember sitting there watching my VHS videos with my friends. And you would and all of us would go, "It's me! It's me! It's that D-O-double-G! Brawling once again with the B-A-double-D!"
See, and even X-Pac.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, D-Generation X proudly brings to you its WWF Tag Team Champions of the World! Oh,
the Road Dog, Jesse J, the badass Billy Gunn, the New Age Outlaws.
And then, before we get on to later iterations of DX...
I'm going to leave that to the end, because I think that's where we're going to turn into our most colourful. Poor Ty.
Billy Gunn, and if you ain't down with that, we got 2 words for you.
Suck it.
Back when it was relevant. Yeah. You can't just go... let's get ready to suck it. What the fuck is let's get ready to suck it mean? Come on. Jesus Christ.
But do you know what? You look at Triple H, and I think it was really that push from him being the mid-card to being primetime. And Shawn leaving actually had a huge part of that as well, because, you know, I always remember
that
Hunter,
could have been the end of DX. That literally could have been the end of it.
But in fact, I think it was the rebirth of it, and it pushed it to a whole new level. It made superstars of Hunter. It made 2 superstars of China.
The Outlaws
X-Pac.
were made for DX.
At the end of the day, they became, from joining DX, became the biggest tag team of one of the biggest tag teams. If you say to me,
late 90s, early 2000s, yeah.
If you tell me the tag teams around that time, you would always say
they laid
New Age Outlaws, Dudleys, Hardys, Edge and Christian.
The New Age Outlaws
are the ones.
They laid the foundations for the teams that would go on to revolutionize TLC matches. They laid the foundations for those teams. Without the New Age Outlaws, tag team wrestling is not where it is today.
And I think they're one of many acts that retired Terry Funk as well. I think one of many acts.
I think you're due to retire next week, aren't you, Cliff?
Possibly.
And I say, I'll never forget, like, because I remember watching that episode of Raw when Triple H was bringing out the new DX. And he goes, "You look to your blood. Yeah. You look to... the Click," and out comes X-Pac, and I was like, "Oh shit, that's 6!" I literally go, "That's 6!" You know, because he was in the NWO at the time. That's 6. We'd not seen a guy from the NWO go over to WWE.
He must have been the first one before Jericho to do the switch the other way.
To go from WCW over was one thing, but to go from the NWO, which is you just sit on your ass and print fucking money if you're in the NWO, that was all. I mean, fucking Virgil was there printing money. You know what I mean? So there obviously wasn't a huge queue to get him back. Well, hey, but no,
let's start the memes again.
Yeah.
That's so 2 years ago.
But yeah, having a guy leave the NWO, which was at its fucking hottest at this point, to go over to that, and then to get so much heat that there's an actual heat named after him.
Yeah,
is crazy. And now X-Pac, people forget how good X-Pac was. People forget how
1,
good
2, 3. You know, when he beats Razor at on Raw in New York, I can't remember the
Madison.
name. No, it wasn't.
No,
Madison,
it was the Mall of America.
Yeah,
Mall of America. Yeah.
So we go into the bad times of DX, and that's his third rejuvenation.
Fourth, fifth, seventh.
Well, it should have been the one. It should have been the one that.
I will never accept a DX that contains Hornswoggle as an official member.
No, I mean, but if it was just Triple H and Hunter, that should have been what everybody wanted again. However, it turned into the biggest star. It was almost so funny because it was so contradicting of the name of D-Generation X, yet they were burying every talent that they could.
They were burying the talent that they could. It was
insulting the talent.
It was just for t-shirt sales.
Moments.
It was just for t-shirt sales.
Yeah.
The Spirit Squad should have gotten over. They should have gotten over so...
Was it OVW? So send back to OVW? Or
yeah, literally bundled back to OVW.
Yeah.
Literally bundled back to OVW. I mean, there is one thing we can thank the later generation of D-Generation X's. What's your name? Oh, Stan. I just kicked Stan!
Poor Ty, didn't you?
Yeah. Shawn Michaels is literally walking off just super kicking everyone.
Yeah.
I was like, oh. That was good. That was good.
But, yeah,
at the end of the day, they were two 40-year-old dudes
yeah,
acting like 16-year-olds, which didn't work.
And unfortunately, we had the most recent incarnation as well, and obviously that was for the big Royal Sellout. So against retiring Undertaker finally and Kane.
It was great to have them back for Raw 25, though, I must say. That was pretty good.
Yeah,
even if it was at the expense of the
But
Ascension.
that was more of the click, I suppose.
Yeah.
It was more the click. It was the NWO / D-Generation X / just Hunter's mates and the new guys that do Too Sweet. That was what it was there for, wasn't it? It did its job.
Wait, did they destroy Gallows and Anderson?
No, they destroyed the Revival.
They did, yeah.
Yeah,
I
the
was going to say,
Revival
like,
they
when you said the guys who
destroyed.
do Too Sweet, I was like, Gallows and Anderson were fine, weren't
No, they were fine. I don't know where they are now, but they were fine.
They're on holiday with Asuka. Oh, there's a place to be, isn't there? There's a place to be.
Next time's 30. Where is everybody? So let us know what your fondest memories are of course, D-Generation X at the Normal hashtag for Facebook, Instagram, and the old Twitter, my bob.
What was your favourite bit of DX merch? I mean, what's been thrown out there?
I did like the basketball tops.
Yes.
But I've never been the physique for a vest. Because I've always been quite lanky and skinny, and now I'm sort of not lanky, not skinny anymore, but still no arms to me. So I always look like a yokel in it. That's the best way of putting it.
Walking around Winchester, one could never look like a yokel.
I definitely, I look like the guy in the video to Pretty Fly for a White Guy by Offspring.
Give it to me, baby!
That's how I look if I'm in a vest.
I also really enjoyed the Road Dogg bucket hat that he used to wear. Do you remember the Road Dogg bucket hat?
Yeah, the massive hat. I forgot that. It was very like Slash, very much like what Slash used to wear in Guns N' Roses, wasn't it?
He had the little. No, it was a lot flatter than that. It was the little bucket hat. He used to sit on his head like that, and it'd be out, and he had like the little dog, the crossbones on the front.
And the dog with the sunglasses on the front and the dreads. Yes, I do remember that.
That was a really cool little hat. That was really cool. But so people out there listening, what was your favourite bit of DX merch? Is there a bit of merch you want us to talk about in the next one?
Yeah. Let us know. If you want to send us an email, it is quite simple. WRWRPOD @gmail.com.
Now, believe it or not, I actually know how email works. I can do email.
Do you get, not
I can
Instagram,
do email.
though. Still don't get it. Even though we've got a former Lucha Underground champion that follows us on there.
Marty the Moth Martinez. Creepy bastard. He'd literally get up and just like lech on Sexy Star. Just lech on her all the way through. It was
really
lechy. But it was
very lechy.
Until she sort of ripped his arm out. It was pretty good fun. But then of course the Sexy Star girl obviously went into business for herself. I can't remember who it was against. But Yeah, Lucha Underground. God, I need to go back home and rewatch that. That was amazing.
You loved Lucha Underground.
I did. I can't believe you haven't seen it.
No, somebody I used to work with who follows us. Hello, Rich, if you're listening. He used to always say for me to watch it.
Lucha Underground is amazing. Even if you watch
it's like, it's in seasons, Cliff. It's in seasons. That's all anybody used to say to me. It's in seasons.
If you watch one match, you need to watch Dante Fox versus Killshot. Hoi doggy! That is
maybe that's the next match we review then, me and you, shall we?
Yes. Let's do it.
Yes. But before that, we have now our Brit
Wrestle Rundown!
Rundown of the cars from CWP. No regrets.
They don't work.
At the Grand...
No
Thank you, Robbie.
regrets now. They only hurt.
At the Grand Harbour Hotel. Let's do this.
The final event at the Grand Harbour Hotel.
I know, sad time. So, as we were saying last time at the Grand Harbour, the CWP, no regrets. And do you know what? This is going behind the curtain. And if you have not seen the YouTube show, make sure you go and watch it. It was a real behind-the-scenes look of before the actual event started, me and Toby walking around the ring, getting interrupted by many a person. And yeah, CWP means a hell of a lot to me and Toby.
It's as we said, CWP, it is our wrestling home. It is, it's one of the first places we got a break.
2 years
as
ago.
opposed to anything 2 years ago. And
I'll
tell you what,
night
Cliff,
of WrestleMania.
The condition I turned up to that first one in, I wouldn't have given me a break. Jesus.
No, well, so if you don't know the story already, we have discussed it in the past. That we turned out. So I was going over Toby's to watch WrestleMania. Was it when the Hardys returned? Yeah, so 2 years ago.
That night.
So anyway, I say to him, "Cool, that's cool. I'll be over yours at this time." He then turns around to me and says, "Actually, there's this." At the Novotel, there's this charity wrestling event.
And they're promising a ladder match, Cliff.
They've got Ricky Knight here. They're promising this ladder match. It's going to be so much fun. And oh my God, they've got a Kylie singer at halftime. Literally, I went, yeah, Toby, but I've got to sort of do the family things because this is before you had your little in. I've got to sort of do the family things before I come to you. And you're like, that's fine. Anyway, so I get there at halftime.
Were you there pre or post Kylie?
During.
Yeah.
No. I got there the pretty much the last seconds of the last match.
Can't get you out of my head.
No, last match of the first half. Anyway, so I get there, and Toby very much informs me that no one's on the door. So I went, okay. So I go in there, and don't worry, Robbie and that know about this now. So I then go, oh God, I'll sneak in. Anyway,
in case of sneaking in, he just walked through the front door.
Through the front door. There was no one that stopped me. Anyway, so we're standing there, and I get this security guard walk over to me and say, Kelvin wants to speak to you after this match.
Was it Robbie or Kelvin?
No, Kelvin.
Was it?
Yeah. So Kelvin wants to speak to you. I went, who's Kelvin? He went, the guy up there on the DJ booth. And I went, okay. So literally I go over there and he says...
At this point, we should want out that we're going, you're getting your fucking head kicked in here, mate.
Because we're like, this is a proper old school British event here.
You're getting your head kicked in, Cliff.
I'm going to get proper stiffed. Anyway, so... At this point, I'm going to Toby, that's all right. It was tenner for the door. I'll offer them 15. I had a couple of drinks already at this point. So anyway, so I walk over there and Kelvin says, I've seen you at the ICW shows, doing the interviews outside with Joe Hendry and that, and we would like to get involved with you. And then we went backstage and Toby, it is still on that dictaphone. The footage of you interview Robbie Nitro for the first time ever, and this is no joke, without knocking him over my microphone, how it sounded like this. Hello, this is, and then you can hear me try and pull his arm back every so often, going, Toby, no.
I think I was wearing two pairs of glasses on my head at this point
you
as
had
well.
Both my pair of sunglasses and yours on the top of your heads. Matt Wolfie King pretty much became your new best friend as you pretty much put your arm around him and dragged him around everywhere going, you're coming with me. And then Riley Evans was there, he was like, you're coming with me as well.
we were also both decidedly slimmer and much more the prime of our lives.
That's depressing when you look back at those pictures. But I was the biggest one out of the two of us at that point as well. But no, Toby, it's fine. You had a child. But no.
Skinny Toby is dead.
So it meant a lot to us, this show. Yeah. And obviously, this time around, there was no physical banners, posters, anything that went up about the show. So,
well, I mean, somebody in this room had a really important part to play in this, didn't they, Mr. Foster?
Well, I definitely paid back for not paying back that ticket. Let's put it at that. That's what I'm going to say about it. But I definitely have paid my dues back to CWP. It meant a lot to me to not see Robbie falter. Robbie, this is completely between me and you and the other listeners, the other 10 are listening. Generally, everything you've done for us, I'll always be thankful for it. I can't 100%. Ever repay you. And I don't want to ever see you stop doing this thing called CWP. The internet worked! The internet worked, Toby!
This was the best crowd that I've seen at a CWP show in ever. I mean, and I'm not...
Chanting, everything.
Yeah, chanting, singing. It was great to see people that we've seen from other wrestling shows now coming along to this. People like Mitch, Emma, people like that.
Sarah, my friend Sarah, and our other half,
People that we've seen from other shows around. It's great to see them now coming to CWP. Because, wrestling fans of a certain age, of our sort of demographic and things like that, we're passionate wrestling fans. We love wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
If you give us wrestling, we'll give you the encouragement in return.
In the word of Reigns' world, book it, and they will come.
It was great to see, and it was also fantastic to see because we got a little insight into some future stars of CWP, including one man who has cemented himself in that main event scene from now on. It's something he's earned, it's something that's worthwhile, and I'll be disgusted if we don't see this man with a title very soon.
Well, let's go down the card, because I think it will be quite evident as we go down the card who that person might be. So we started off the evening with Mr. Kelvin J coming to the ring, as he does at the beginning of every show.
CWP GM Kelvin J.
Yes, indeed. And he made the announcement. Obviously, there had to be changes to the card, and instead of having Logan defend in the main event, they were going to have a unifying of the two. Yeah,
what an absolute blockbuster to start the show! It's as we said in the pre-show. This was a show where from as soon as we got there, we felt the vibe that something was different.
Yeah,
we knew something was different. We didn't know what it was. We didn't quite sure what was happening, but we knew something was going to happen. Something was going to be different, and we've not felt that air of excitement, that buzz from a local show like that for a long, long time. But we knew the minute we set foot in there, something. And it's so weird to describe it. It's like an electricity, isn't it?
Yeah,
it was so weird. But energy. We knew from the moment we got there that something was going to go up, and for Kelvin to come out and make that announcement that the middleweight title and the heavyweight title are going to be unified. I don't think we've ever seen anything like that on the South Coast, let alone Southampton.
No, and it did really sort of, because we were seeing Buff Daddy back CWP for the only second time this year, so it was great that we knew that guy, he was going to return.
Great to see Buff Daddy back as always. Buff's become a great friend of the show.
Yes,
he's young, he's talented,
he's young.
Definitely young. But no, it's great to have Buff back. I mean, he's a great performer, and he's a great guy as well.
So let's start down with the cards, because obviously we announced this. Takeover came out, not very happy at all about the situation, because they just thought that they could have a night off, didn't they? Mr. James Daniels thought he could just have an evening by himself, drinking his Chardonnay and whatever.
Well, I mean, we actually had quite a lovely evening planned, myself and Mr. Daniels. We were going to sit there and drink our Beaujolais over crumbed Wensleydale, but instead it was ripped away from me, Cliff. My evening in front of an open fireplace with James Daniels discussing Suits was taken away from me. And instead, I ended up with a fucking great night of wrestling. What am I meant to do?
And it really was, because, there is another friend of the podcast, and that is Mr. Roderick the Rambunctious. And we finally saw him get a chance at fundamentally the heavyweight belt. And
well, I mean, was he the second, or was he the first? Is he the longest reigning middleweight champion, or did Buff just pip him?
I think we discussed this, me and him, and I think he said that Buff just pipped him. So I said, because after,
but who had more defenses? That was definitely no.
But no, so I really enjoyed it. I that match between him and Ian Logan at the beginning. Obviously, both were trained under Rishi. And actually now, obviously, if you don't know about it already, Rishi Ghosh has actually created his own wrestling school.
Quality wrestling in Portsmouth. And
Ian Logan's a huge part of it. So if you haven't seen the YouTube video now, have a little check of that. We have a bit of a joke and laugh with Ian at the beginning. And we have a little bit of a chat about it. Quality wrestling school. It's huge down
It is. It's really taken off to a whole new thing. Rishi, his brother Raja, Ian Logan, people like that. Like Roderick the Rambunctious is doing his training there.
Yeah.
They had Steve Linsky down there recently giving a refereeing and announcing seminar. They're getting all the people down. Doug Williams has been there doing a thing.
Yep.
They're bringing the people down that are there to teach you about wrestling. These aren't just people, that are wrestlers and think they can teach. This is Rishi has a passion and a skill for teaching.
How many years did he train for RevPro? He's gone out and by himself, and I think anybody else would have found that hard, but Rishi himself...
his hard man haircut.
No, but Rishi himself now, he's got no problems with it because he is a name himself. I think that he doesn't need a name behind him. Rishi has that name himself.
Yeah.
And anybody who trains up, is going to be of a
certain
Speaking of
quality.
Rishi,
it was great to bump into and speak to Rishi.
Yeah, it was.
The show. Fantastic.
Yeah, no,
great. Once again, coming out to support the show.
So let's go on to the match because, as I was going to say, I digress.
Yes.
And Roderick has actually come on leaps and bounds. Looking at 2 years of Roderick the Rambunctious. He was a great character when we first met him, and he was a bit green.
He was a great character. He was a great character. The act was there.
Yeah.
The act was wonderful. And it just goes to show that a great gimmick that somebody is fully immersed in can paper over cracks. I think that's a polite... Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Can paper over cracks. Whereas now, seeing Roderick in the ring against a legitimate...
He knows his weaknesses, and now he plays to that really well.
Seeing him in there against a legitimate heavyweight champion in the Hitman Ian Logan was incredible. It was like a culmination of 2 years of a journey, and that was easily Roderick's best match I've ever seen him in.
Completely. And it was entertaining.
What
do you want from wrestling? Entertainment. And that's what it was. We can't turn too smarky now going, we want 5-star matches every time. No, it's all about the entertainment, and they brought it to the table. Seriously. So then we saw, not obviously, that's the wrong word to use. Sorry, Roderick. Sorry, my friend. I did not mean to use your words. But Ian Logan won. So he went through to the final. So we had, of course, the CWP middleweight championship match. So we saw Buff Daddy in the first time in the ring since spring last year. So he came out saying that he's
wearing red and white tights for the best football team in the world.
Oh, no.
Man United. Boo. Of course, I gave him a polite round of applause, being the prawn sandwich eating Manchester United fan that I am.
Obviously on the M3.
I've been to see them once. We lost against Arsenal. Danny Welbeck scored against us and celebrated, so we booed him.
I can't count how many times I've seen Southampton.
I've seen Eastleigh more than I've seen United play now. I'm considering myself
fan.
I'm considering myself an Eastleigh fan.
Let's
now,
leave that to the non-league football podcast, shall we?
Oh, can we do one?
Have we got enough time? We can barely get this in.
I know, Cliff. I know. It has to go. I know the Fruit of the Year podcast takes priority. I know it takes priority. So, don't worry, guys. We've just entered March. There's still 9 months to go of continuous 24/7 Fruit of the Year coverage. You can find it on the Fruit of the Year Instagram page.
I don't even share a mic with him anymore, so I can't even take it away from him. I could just drop his volume down, I suppose,
You will never silence the Fruit of the Year, Cliff. The Fruit of the Year is here to stay. We are not going anywhere with the Fruit of the Year.
That's right. He's being a bit quieter now. Thank you.
I told we are here to stay. No.
Stop. Right, come back to it.
Okay.
So, obviously, seeing our middleweight champion back for the first time since spring of last year against possibly one of the best talents we've seen down in the South Coast at this sort of level. I mean, he should be this sort of level.
Alexander Roth was the standout because he made his debut in the 6-man No Limits Invitational.
Was it the first
the
match?
the one that Riley Evans won?
That's correct.
That was his debut with people like Mocha Majoka, who would go on to become the vegan warrior Ryan Hendricks.
That's right.
It was just Frankie T was in that. That was where
the
we
last
saw.
time we saw Frankie T.
That was where we saw the breakup of the society. So yeah, him making his debut in that match, I remember us being really impressed, and we had a chat with him. I still don't think I've actually released. I think I've got it on my phone, along with countless other things that I probably should have released over time, and other things I should not have released over time. But yeah, and he's he dons the WRWRPOD cap for that.
Well, he dons the WRWR cap every time I've seen him. He's gone to see me in my place of work, and he's just wearing it. And then the people that I work with say, "Isn't that the logo from your podcast?" Yes. He's a paying customer, don't you know?
And Roth also wore it in his first interview with us back after that match.
Yes, he did.
So, yeah, Alexander Roth is somebody that we've seen go from strength to strength to strength. And, the match of him versus Buff Daddy was great. It was really good, really, really great to see. It showed us how great and strong, capable both men are. And, the crowd reaction for Roth, how he got the people involved was amazing.
Well, actually, I think, no offense to Sid Scala, but obviously when he had Buff and Sid Scala had their last match, there obviously wasn't a chemistry there. We wondered why everybody went a bit quiet during that match. Then you throw someone like Alexander Roth in the mix, and there's a chemistry there. I could see them two wrestle a couple more times.
Yeah, Roth was everything we wanted and more. He reacted with the crowd. The moves were flashy. It flowed. It was great. I mean, Roth. There are big things for Alexander Roth coming up.
I hope so.
Coming up. Well, I mean, there's definitely going to be big things coming up.
Is that the Sparrow's been tweeting to you again? Tweet.
No, this is a feeling in my gut.
Oh, guts. So then we went on to...
How great would Alexander Roth be in Super Strong Style?
Him versus Speedball Mike Bailey.
Pumping it to my veins.
Straight into the veins.
I'll be doing shots of that match, just like Eyeball Paul in Kevin and Perry.
Oh, I really want to see Speedball Mike Bailey.
I thought you were going to say, I really want to watch Kevin and Perry again. Mrs. Patterson.
That as well.
You cheeky girl, Mrs. Patterson.
So, what was the next match?
So Alexander Roth gets the win. Win. So after this match, we then go on to... Now, can't remember the order of the next two, but it's kind of irrelevant. We're just running down the matches. So the next match is was also one of my favourite matches of the night. Eddie Kenway of the Takeover.
Yeah, it was this next.
It was. Defending his No Limits title against Mr. CWP, Robbie Nitro.
Well, the funny thing was I had to nip off on my drinks round at the beginning of this match. I came back and there was a lot of weapons out. A lot of weapons out. And I've been gone a good old 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So I said to Toby, what's not been used yet? And he went, nothing. It's all been used. So please explain to me what happened in that first 5 minutes.
Right, so basically, they both went around the ring, got out weapons, including a scattering of wet floor signs, a bin, and the kendo stick, and a few other bits.
As you do.
Now, the first 5 minutes were chaotic. If you've literally seen, they were there, they each had half of the wet floor sign. We're just clocking each other with it. And then they did the spot where they hit it against each other and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just everything in the first 5 minutes.
Bin,
literally crack over the head, bin.
Was it Eddie that went in the bin, or was it Robbie
Get in the bin!
Get in the bin.
I believe it was Eddie that got hit with the bin.
Yeah, I believe you're right as well. But I mean, it was just absolute bloody chaos.
It was carnage. It's exactly what you want from a No Limits championship.
Yeah, because it does exactly what it says on the tin, isn't it? With the No Limits, there is no limits. There's no rules of what the matches could be, the stipulations. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Eddie Kenway gave a great, performance again. He's another wrestler. Every time you see him, he comes on leaps and bounds.
Yeah. Eddie Kenway is amazing. I'd say, I had the pleasure. I had the pleasure of announcing him at Outcast Pro Wrestling. I had the pleasure of sitting in the locker room with him and listening to him give advice to the trainees and the wrestlers in there. Eddie's now a veteran of this business, and his knowledge is incredible. So just having the chance to sit and listen to him give all of that knowledge was just exceptional. It was just wonderful. Psycho Phillips is another one there, full of knowledge from Outcast, sitting there, who now actually runs his own wrestling school as well. Hearing him give advice to these wrestlers on what to wear, how to present yourself, who you're representing when you're there, diet, things like that. These are things that people pay him.
I think
good
you
money
need
for.
to listen to him about
I know.
diet.
I had a chat with him for 20 minutes about diet, just about food, and it's really, really simple. Of course, I won't give you the secrets here. If you want that, you can go speak to Psycho Phillips yourself.
He's gonna love you. All the 10 of our listeners going up to him and saying, "Can I have a little chat, please?"
Well, no, it's chargeable, isn't it? You go to his wrestling school. You want to hear his advice. You go to his wrestling school.
There you go.
We're not all fortunate enough, but no. So I was fortunate enough to sit there and hear Eddie's advice and his wise words. So yeah, Eddie Kenway also is one of the good guys in wrestling. He's one of the good guys, and that match with Robbie was great. It gave us everything we wanted. Unfortunately, Robbie didn't get the win, which puts him on a bit of a losing streak now.
It does. So, but then saying that, it has been announced that Pirate Nation will be facing off against the Silent Bombers for the Tag Team Championships.
Which involving... Oh, I nearly said it.
Oh,
I nearly said it.
Spoilers, children. But before that spoiler, we will go on to the women's match. Now, Miss Sky Smithson, Queen of the drop kicks.
Ain't she great?
Oh, she's just brilliant. Now, we have sung this woman's praises for so long.
She's still the most over heel in CWP.
I mean, she doesn't... Well, there might be spoilers again, but she doesn't need the takeover to get over. And
I'd like to... If the takeover does implode, I'd like to see Daniel stay with her. I would like to see that.
Does she need a mouthpiece?
No, she doesn't. But it's great because the strong woman defending the cowardly man.
True.
Is one of the better wrestling tropes.
Yep, I like that.
Yeah, it is one of the best. That. You can have Daniels in there starting all the little fires and Sky coming in and putting them out, and that's one of my favourite little tropes.
But with Sky, I've said it before. 2019 is going to be a huge year for that lady. If a big promotion is not picking her up soon. For God's sake,
shame on you.
Jim Smalling, if you are listening to this and you do not pick her up, Full Progress Wrestling, what is wrong with you? Look at this woman go. You should be wrapping your arms around her going, no, you're not going to your call, dear. You come with me, dear. You stay with me. You're not going to Revolution Pro Wrestling. Come with me. They should all be battling and flutting their eyelids at her to try and get her to bloody... it just flipping frustrates me. And actually, we've seen her face off against some amazing people. You know, likes of Bobby Tyler. She's gone off to do...
Zan Phoenix.
Yes, Bobby Tyler's gone off to do great things.
Yeah.
Zan Phoenix, the inaugural, of course, Outcast Pro Wrestling Women's Champion. These two people...
Zia Brookside.
Yeah. You know, you're seeing some really big wrestlers that have faced off against her. And
I'll tell you what, that's one thing.
Outside of the world of CWP, she's wrestled Di Matteo, Lara Di Matteo. You know, she's wrestled some huge people. And we saw possibly a brilliant face for her to face off against. I'd never heard of Mercedes Blaze before tonight. I'll be honest, neither would I.
When she got in the ring and she wrestled against Sky, it was perfect. It was the best match of the night for me.
Completely.
By a country mile. They were both incredible.
And it couldn't be, the match itself was so high paced. It was beautifully worked. There were pauses when pauses were needed, but the match was only about 10 minutes long.
There were moments where I genuinely thought Sky was going to lose, and I've not thought that from a Sky Smithson match for a long, long time. I'm sorry, Sky, but I've not thought that for a long, long time. There was a moment where she could genuinely lose. She looked genuinely under threat, and it was just a great sight to see. Shenanigans ultimately ruined the match at the end. But
I still think I want to see that match back.
Yeah, that's got a main event one of their shows.
Yes, next show. Put it to you now, Robbie. Book it. So
I tell you what. Speaking condemning RevPro for having no women's wrestlers. That's not something we can we can tar
Robbie Nitro
CWP
has
with.
ticks every box going along though.
Well done.
You know, him and Kelvin J working their wonders as always.
Speaking of working wonders, Cliff, before we go into the next match, first, let me take a selfie.
That has been stuck in my head for how many days has it been now? About 8 days, 9 days, 9 days. Yes, I almost called you by your real name then. But Sir Selfie.
Bravo.
Bravo, sir. Bravo. What a gimmick to get over and done so well. I mean, that intro was actually longer than some matches we've seen at CWP in the past, but got everybody over.
Literally,
everybody.
The crowd were into it. They were dancing. Everybody was taking selfies. It was just wonderful.
And we saw one of our favourites to chant to back as well.
Oh, I mean, he's one of my favourite wrestlers to watch, Mr. Brad Tannen, who every time I've seen him in a CWP ring has been exceptional. And he brought his tag team partner with him this time, and it was just wonderful to see, because the minute we threw out the great hair no fans chant,
Smiles,
the little smile creeped up, and it's just wonderful to see. It's always a pleasure to see Brad, and Brad taking on Sir Selfie again for a great entertaining match is exactly what it was. It was entertaining. It was so entertaining.
It was almost like that. You know, when we look at the first match with Roderick and Ian, it's not the case that it's like, oh, it's that fun match. No. It wasn't. You actually had that element of great wrestling mixed with entertainment, and that's what makes it work.
It reminded me.
It's not trying to be a specific thing.
Do you remember back in the peak of Santino Marella's run for WWE?
Yeah.
That's what it was. It was hilarious, but it was also great wrestling. It wasn't just comedy. The two guys pulled out a stormer of a match again. So Selfie obviously got the win.
Yep.
But Brad, always great to see you, man. Let's have you back again.
Yes, no, completely. And then, as I said, we saw the introduction of his tag partner as well. Hopefully we see them back on the tag scene, because Paddy O'Connor, what you were telling me, isn't actually traditionally his tag partner. And I didn't know that.
No, they're one part of the Hollywood Heartthrobs.
Okay.
If I've got that right.
Okay, cool. Well, we go into the main event, and that is the biggest shock of the night. And there's two big shocks this. Actually, technically three. So the first big shock was actually who was going to be wrestling with Ian Logan and, of course, Alexandra
Because
Ruff.
we actually neglected to say this at the beginning.
Yeah,
but Kelvin J teased in the quote, return of a CWP legend.
So we were all wondering who. And unfortunately, the British Brawler never came out.
Gutted. I was heartbroken.
And generally upset and saddened by that. But it wasn't. It wasn't him. It was somebody I didn't expect.
No, I was not expecting it. It was the tag team partner of who I was expecting.
Well, more importantly, he was announced for that match originally, and he was meant to be injured. So what was he doing there, Chris?
He's obviously overcome the injuries. He's overcome it all to put CWP on his back. This was the return of one half of the Solent Bombers, classic Chris K.
And the crowd actually really popped for it. And we actually saw, because they were two very, very large heavyweights in the ring, Alexander being a bit thrown out of the ring to begin with and not really being part of the action. But it was a good, well-fought match, and actually had a feel of that old British wrestling, match, and very much CWP when we first saw it 2 years ago, I would say. Chris K got the win against Ian Logan.
He ended up pinning Ian Logan.
I know, he pinned Ian. It wasn't even that Alex didn't take the pinfall.
Nope. Well, for that, he would have had to been in the ring, Cliff.
But he did come in after the match and argue that he should have the middleweight title back, that should be his. And there was a little moment between him and Chris where I thought, is Chris going to give him back that title? But something happened. And we saw, after 2 years of the takeover, well, no, just under 2 years of the takeover. So we're talking September. So the first show with Bram was the formation of the takeover.
Bram!
That was September 2017. We saw the split, or possible split.
Or was it just the kicking out of the Hitman Ian Logan? Because you'll notice Kenway, Sky, and Daniels, they all left together.
Did they? It's going to be interesting to see what happens at the next show. Because that's how it was left. Poor Ian. Ian then in the ring, after his beatdown from the takeover, or the remaining members of the takeover.
Remnants.
And
Wait,
Chris
Cliff.
K stretched out a hand and went for a handshake, and Ian
Refused
and walked away.
Does this mean there's a spot open in the takeover?
No, Toby.
All I'm saying is, they said, because Daniel specifically told me there wasn't room for an extra member, right? So if that means that, so if there's 4 of them at this point, and he removes one of them, which now means there's 3, which now technically means 25% of the takeover is gone, which means there is now a gap the size of a quarter of the takeover to be filled.
You're not going to take that heavyweight spot.
Well, I mean, I'm definitely heavyweight, Cliff.
There's no doubt about that. He's heavyweight now?
Don't body shame me, Cliff.
You assuming my size. But then we saw actually one of the biggest heartfelt moments. And as I said at the beginning of this podcast, a lot of people care about this Robbie. Mm-hmm. And I think Chris nailed it on the head, saying about in his 20 years and, you know, how with Robbie, he would stick by everything he does. And, you know, he does CWP from the goodness of his heart. You know, the amount him and Mandy and his family sacrifice. Kelvin's family sacrifice on a, you know, daily basis. This isn't just a show that appears every 3 months that we go and watch. I mean, their lives are devoted to it. Absolutely devoted to it. So, incredible.
And the great work, as I say, that goes towards the charities as well. For example, this one was also in aid of No Limits again, just like the last one. Once again, charities that I personally have had dealings with, friends have had dealings with. Charities close to my heart.
Look at Dylan's Quest that we've had down there before. Some real things that me and you, it's really touched on us as humans, as individuals, to hear these inside stories, to hear these local charities, and really get the support that they need sometimes, smaller charities. Mm-hmm. So
what was your big takeaway from the show then? What was your one takeaway from that show?
You don't need a bloody poster to fill an event. And also, sometimes you look at us as a smarky audience, and we went to another show that I wouldn't necessarily say had as loud a crowd. And an interactive crowd, and they are supposedly people that appreciate this art form that's known as wrestling. If you appreciate this art form that you know as wrestling, or British wrestling, you know that we have a certain role to play as a crowd. Not getting ourselves over, however, we have to create that ambience, that experience. And when you have kids there at these events, that's what gets them excited.
That's what they'll remember.
Actually, we've got to talk about something very big, actually, with us getting involved with events. Alexander Roth versus Mr. Buff Daddy. Mm-hmm. We saw someone take a bit of, not bump, I wouldn't say, but took a bit of a smelly part of
my wife hasn't kissed me since
to the face.
My wife hasn't kissed me since, Cliff.
As you can see, me and Toby actually do sacrifice our bodies for this. I've been thrown around
and
by
my
Sky.
love life and my love. Wait, what? Why didn't I get that? No.
you get Mr. Socko to the face.
Yeah, I get Buff's ugly sock in my mouth. Grimy.
It's because it was in that bloody Man United top.
Sock it to me, baby.
So, yeah, of course, the next show will be in June at the new venue. It's
the Oasis Academy.
Yeah. And yeah,
which is in Shirley.
It's in Shirley.
Yeah,
it's good parking down
there. Great
as well,
central.
I think
Lots
that's
of
always
free
been the problem
parking.
with Grand Harbour sometimes, or what I hear. I don't drive. No, I'm a train wanker.
Lots of free parking. Central Southampton. You can get a bus from anywhere in the city to there. Mm-hmm. It's so easily to get to, and the staging is going to be just wonderful.
And we will have more on that show as we get closer and closer to June. But that's the triumphant return of WRWRPOD. it's done. It's done. Thank you very much if you're listening to on the old-fashioned Mixcloud. If you're watching on the new-fashioned YouTube,
I believe it's pronounced YowTube.
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 If you are listening onto the YowTube, there's a little button underneath this. Look, do you see where the WRWRPOD sign is? It's underneath that. There's a button that says subscribe.
If you're being recommended that video of Simon Gotch burying Enzo, you've scrolled too far.
If you see Luke Owen telling you to do it, you've clicked on another blooming show. You'll also see Simon Gotch burying Enzo suggestion at that bottom of that one as well. So I don't know how much fucking sponsorship this video pays YouTube. But Jesus God, it is at the bottom of everything. And you know what? I've seen this fucking suggestion for over a year. And I have not watched it once. Simon Gotch having a go at
Simon
Enzo
Gotch berries in capital letters. I can read it how I can fucking remember it.
Come on, please have a look down. Forget about the subscribe button now. Just scroll a bit down and tell us if Simon Gotch burying Enzo Amore is there. Please tell me if it is.
I swear to God, I've seen this thing more than I've seen my own daughter over the past year and a half.
I've never watched it.
No.
I'm so watching it. Right, that's your mission now. Go and click on it now. No, not now. Wait till the end. I'm gonna get those flipping clickbait monies. Are
you getting clickbait monies for this?
Possibly. No, of course not. I'm done now. Anyway, hit that subscribe button. Please. Hit that share button. Please. And your mission today is to at least go and tell one friend and get
about Simon Gotch burying Enzo Amore.
and tell them about the following. You've got to, if they're a wrestling friend, you've got to get them to either sign up to the Twitter page run by Mr. TDC himself.
Oi.
You get them to sign up to Instagram if they like the photos run by your good self, me, and also producer Luke. Hello, producer Luke. If not, then you head over to our Facebook page of our
for maximum engagement.
I mean, like the engagement of that site. You see people with tens of thousands of followers. Or
thank you to our new followers, by the way.
Yeah, over 200 now.
The resident rival Victor Logan from Outcast we've seen come up.
Yeah.
Dirty Dave Dennis, who gave me a little bit of stick in the ring for announcing he was from the Isle of Wight.
Oh, disgusting behaviour.
You know, how dare I announce him where a man's from? You heard me, Dave. You heard me.
So, yeah, thank you very much for joining us. But your missions, everyone, is to get everyone to sign. One of your friends that is a wrestling fan to at least sign up to one of them. If you really don't like us, God, why have you been sat here for almost an hour and a half listening to us? That's all I'm going to say to you. But as always, we have been #WRWRPOD with myself, Cliff Foster, aka the Amazing Cliff on Twitter. And I'm accompanied by this handsome young bugger.
I, of course, have been the TDC at DC47 Commish. And do not forget, new announcing shows coming up. Myself and Cliff will both be there. April 26th, Coburg, Outcast Pro Wrestling on the Isle of Wight. 18+ events.
Oh, so sick.
And April 28th, I'll be making my debut for Strike Pro Wrestling in Bournemouth. Cliff will be there as well.
I will. Just got to wait for Bottom to give me a job now, haven't I?
Well, I need someone to carry out my bags. Coat man. Jock sniffer. Ring boy. Ring man. Turnbuckle tightener. Glass collector. Drink porter extraordinaire. Merch man. Guy to run around and try to hold the card reader up high when it doesn't get enough signal. Lighting. not lighting. Audio, also not audio. Doorman, toilet attendant. No spray, no lay, no spray, no lay. No spray, no lay. No Armani, no Punani. No splash, no gash. Freshen up, little darling, freshen up. Whoa.
Are these all genuine ones you've heard being sung?
Yes, these are all ones I've heard, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, amazing.
No Armani, no Punani, no splash, no gash, no spray, no lay, no spray, no lay.
That's my favourite
Yeah.
one.
And,
So when we ever go to an event and there's one of those guys in the
Do
toilet,
not sing no spray, no lay at them.
we're gonna link arms with the guy either side and start singing it with him.
Only if we give him a quid.
Give a fucking fiver.
I've never literally, I've gone in there, I've been in there so many times and the toilet's been like just fucking smashed. And I got how much for a chewing gum, mate? And he's gone a quid, and I've gone, yeah, sounds about right. Give him a
For one
quid.
stick
Can
of
I,
chewing
can I
gum.
have a lollipop as well? It'll be like, yeah, that'll be extra 50p. Yeah, sounds about good. Here's 2 quid, mate. Oh my God.
£2 for something that should have cost me 10p.
Yeah.